Welcome back to the Lump Job podcast, where every match has its price. If you enjoy the show, please make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the YouTube channel. It really helps us grow the podcast, and it means you won't miss any of our upcoming episodes. You can also follow us on Spotify and across all of our social media accounts at the Lump Job Pod. All picks discussed in this podcast are for entertainment purposes only and should not be considered betting advice. Please gamble responsibly and only bet what you can afford to lose. Thank you.
You are now listening to the Lump Job podcast, where every match has its price.
Welcome back to the Lump Job podcast, where every match has its price. I'm your host, Connor, and tonight I'm delighted to say that I'm joined by Stiv, Fraser, and Corey. Lads, how we doing?
All good, Connor, lad.
Good, mate. Evening, mate. How are you?
What's been happening? I'm all right, mate. I'm good. I'm recharged after that weekend. Another quiet weekend for myself, mate. How are you, Stiv?
Aye, no bad, mate. Oh, I spent most of the weekend getting eaten alive by midges. So in the woods on Saturday, for Coles, he's got us every forest school hig. So they were having a party in the woods, and then went down to Finlayston on Sunday. Nicole's cousin was up in England, so we went and ate Hurnawanes. Just chomped before he scalp chomped all day.
What about you, Fraser, mate? How was your weekend?
Aye, good, mate. I've been on the drink 3 out of the 4 days, to be honest. I had a works night out on Thursday with a few pints before meeting in a free bar. We were getting fed whiskey cocktails for 2 hours. The dinner was about to get patched, but we decided to go and show face. And obviously we patched the last train home. And I was with boys for Ayrshire, so we booked an Uber and they wouldn't stop at Johnston first, so I ended up having to go to Kilwinning, Irvine and Kilburney before getting home. I was honestly in a taxi for about 2 hours bouncing off the walls trying not to write it. It was horrendous.
When you say bouncing off the walls, you mean the taxi doors?
Aye.
Steve, you should have got that jungle formula for the woods, mate. We used that up the golf. Swell insect repellent.
Neat looking, yeah.
Corey's still to fucking buy Silicon. He just uses all mine.
Keep saying I forget to get any Morrison's. £6.
Right, lads. Moving on to we're going to get into the football, right? But before we get on to that, I just want to touch on Poppy Foxy. Corey, boys, you want to enlighten our listeners that weren't with us from the start of the World Cup who Poppy Foxy is and the latest, please, mate?
Yeah, no bother. So I've got a share in a 2-year-old filly who trains with Charlie Clover in Newmarket called Poppy Foxy. She was back on the track after maybe about 2 months out there on Monday at Lingfield, and she won it 15-2. So I was absolutely delighted with that. She only hadn't been running because of the heat wave down England. I think it's rained for where she trains for 50 days now. So we had to go to the all-weather instead on Monday. And if you actually followed the betting, you wouldn't have thought she was going to win because she drifted from 4-1 to 15-2 10 minutes before the race went off, and the other horse went from 3-1 into 10-11 favourite, but she actually just followed her the full way around, and then the last furlong she just shot away and won very, very comfortably. So I was absolutely delighted with that. Jinky, our golf expert as well, he's got a share in her, so we were both really happy with that.
Unreal. And
Aye.
I think all three of you had won money on her. Is that right?
Yeah. I was just about to go in and see Moana 3 with the weigh-in, and I got a message for Corey to say that it was running, so I managed to get a free bet on it.
Nice.
Paid the popcorn.
Did you had money on it as well, Steve, is that right?
I had a wee Kylie Jenner on it myself.
Nice.
I was
fucking chapped my door with a sponge with that one. So I didn't hear anything about this.
You're too busy editing. But She might be back out this Saturday in a 200 grand race at Newmarket, and £108,000 goes to the winner. So we find out on Thursday at 10:30 if she gets in the race. Only 20 people get in it, 20 horses, get in it. And we also need to see how she comes out of the race on Monday, if she's ready to go again Saturday. But you've got to take your chance, I think. I think that's 350 free at Newmarket. But the racing Monday was a mile, and this is back to 6 furlongs, which is probably a wee bit sharp for her. But she will be one of the lowest weights, so I'll still always have a wager on her no matter what. And she's already won twice, so we're up for her for the year.
Classmate, are you going to get into it?
Nah, it's quite a hard one to get down to, especially with the short notice. I know it's the HQ or flat racing, but it's just a wee bit out of the way, so I'll wait for one and off in September.
Fair enough.
The HQ of flat racing, he's going to get the fucking limo down.
Down at headquarters.
Sunglasses on and that.
Alan Brazil's usually there, hope to see him.
Oh, that's brilliant, mate. So, obviously, any listeners, keep your eyes out for Poppy Foxy backer when she comes up. Because that's a few times she's won, innit? She won...
5 races. She won her second race at Chester. She was then second in her next race where she should have won. She led the full weight, and then she's won again. So 2 for 5 she is. So fair play to her. And I've won on at 71 and 15-2, so well in profit.
Go on, the Poppy. All right, mate. Moving on to Scottish teams in Europe before we get into our usual agenda. Starting with Gent v Hibs, they're away. They're in Belgium this week. Lads, do we fancy Hibs' chance against Gent?
It's got to come down to this tie into it. 41 away from home. They've got to keep it competitive for the home fixture to have any chance, obviously, in it. I don't know what you think.
I think it's going to be pretty hard, to be honest with you, but I really hope they do it.
I think they'll struggle. When I seen it, I actually thought Hearts would have had a better chance after hearing Corey's analysis on that Belgian manager last week.
Mate, honestly, I was the exact same, to be honest. I was looking at Hearts Rapid Vienna, 5-4 at home. It's a tempting price, and it was all down to Corey's analysis of that manager.
The draws have been pretty harsh on a lot of Scottish clubs so far, isn't it?
Well, I was the way it jumping the gun on the other ties. I agree, Corey. Looking at the draws that everybody got, it looks solid. I think Hibs will do well to go through this one, to be honest. Gent are obviously pretty seasoned when it comes to European football. They've already started strongly, winning their first 2 opening games of the season, so tough, Ian.
I never know.
Definitely.
A puncher's chance anyway.
Okay. Right. Next one's an interesting one. Motherwell v Freiburg. I believe they're at home on Thursday. What we saying there?
I'm interested to hear what you think.
Very hard game.
Well, that's all.
I think
It's nearly as bad as the Benfica draw for Hearts last time. Like, Freiburg got to the final of this last year, so I don't really think Motherwell have got a great chance. But what an occasion for them. The fans, they go to Germany for a great footballing experience, so fair play. It's a bit of a dream tie.
Aye, definitely, mate, and I agree with that, aye.
It's the final of the
for the
Europa
fans,
they go
innit?
to, but final Europa for Freiburg, it's just to get in the conference, right?
Aye. True, sorry.
Aye. But what I would say is Freiburg's season hasn't started yet, and they are playing Dusseldorf at the weekend in the Cup. Obviously, Motherwell have got that break that all the clubs have got this weekend. It could be hard. Freiburg going away to Motherwell, playing Dusseldorf in a cup that they'll want to progress in at the weekend, and then playing Motherwell again.
Also, I don't know if you've watched the final, but they had one standout player, the big striker who went to Villa for 60 million as well, so they'll be missing him.
Aye. Fair enough. All right.
Nambizi, is it, the boy, the Swiss boy, is it, Fraser?
Oh, aye, I know who you're talking about now. Is he a striker?
Maybe going to Newcastle and he's away with Villa, isn't he? 60
Aye,
million.
aye, that's right, yeah.
So Freiburg's lost him as well.
Who? Is it the Swiss?
Johan Manzambi.
Aye. He was good, and it was in the World Cup.
Aye.
Is that who he was at? Freiburg?
Aye, definitely, aye.
Is it?
Aye, he played in the final against Philly, he was the best player. But he was their only good player.
I was actually ranting and raving about him in our World Cup episodes, and I don't even know who he is. But he is a player. I'll be looking forward to seeing him in the Premier League. Corey, you've disappeared for us for some reason.
Got it.
Right. Rapid Vienna against Hearts. Hearts are over there in Austria on Thursday. For me, this is a sore one for Hearts. I think Rapid Vienna looks solid. Just looking at their recent results, they've won their last 8 competitive games on the bounce. Won their last game 8-0. I think it's going to be a tough one for Hearts, to be honest.
Are Hearts at home the first time?
No, they're away, mate.
I thought it was at home.
Aye, they're going to be away. So aye, that's a tough one. Do you think they're going to get through that?
I think they've
so.
definitely got a chance. They've definitely picked up. The only thing is they've already been out to Austrian opponents in the Champions League, but with Sturm Graz, haven't they? So, but I think they've got a chance against Vienna, to be honest with you. They've really picked up.
Agree with that stuff?
Aye, definitely. No, as long as they can not get bumped in the away leg, like Corey's mentioned last week, their home record speaks for itself. Brilliant at home.
Aye.
Yeah.
And that. Sorry, Corey, on you go, mate.
They played really well the second half in Benfica as well, so they are starting to peak Hearts. So I do actually think they have a good, strong chance of qualifying.
Do you?
Aye.
I don't know. I think that Austrian league's strong. I think I've seen people speaking in other podcasts about how if they should just be beating all these teams in the Austrian Super League or Bundesliga, whatever it's called, but they're all class. Sturm Graz, or however you say it, just actually annihilated Hearts. They annihilated Rangers last season, I know, and they're not they're not even close to being the second best team in that league. So
no, I know, definitely.
Aye, it's tough, one. Right, I think I'm saying this right. Jablonec against Rangers, so they are Czech. So Rangers are away and Czech at 5 o'clock on Thursday. Jablonec have won their last 6 competitive games on the bounce, so no easy game for Rangers. What do we think?
Well, they've picked up at just about the right time, Rangers, with the weekend's result. And they've always seemed to do well in Europe. I think it suits them. But I don't know if this is going to be like a kind of usual tie. I don't know a lot about this Jablonec. But usually they're pretty good at defending, hitting on the counter-attack. I don't know if this team's going to sit in or if they're going to go for it, to be honest.
Last year, the Czech opponents were Plzeň, and Rangers put them out. So
is that?
I think it might be the same. They came over with a good record, didn't they? There were so many unbeaten, and then that was probably Russell Martin's
best game,
best performance at Ibrox. So I think it might be the same again.
I don't know why, I can just remember that Jablonec getting random good results in Europa or conference last year. Can't remember what tournament it was, but the odd decent result. I might be wrong, but I do fancy Rangers to progress, obviously. And then lastly, we've got Celtic v Lask at home tomorrow. Obviously a tough game, like I say, as I've already said, that that Austrian league's a really strong league. Lask won it. They're the Austrian champs currently, and they've also won their first 4 competitive games, scoring 16 goals and conceding 1 goal. So pretty strong team. What we're saying to that?
I think Celtic will go through, but 47's just far too short personally to have a bet in that game. I think Celtic, when they lose Johnston and Engels, they lose a lot of power at the side. Obviously Engels has moved and Johnston's out for 6 weeks, so I think it will be quite hard, but maybe with the 17 million they've spent up front, they'll just have too much firepower, but I think it'll be pretty close. Just edge it.
Aye, Celtic should definitely be getting through that tie. We should be expecting to. It's just not going to be easy. It's not going to be a walk in the park, as they say.
I'll go for Rangers, Celtic, Hearts to go through.
I think so as well, Corey. Spot on. Hibs
Aye,
were a real struggle, and I don't think Motherwell's getting a chance, to be honest.
Steve.
I'm the same. Hearts not as strong as Celtic and Rangers, but I do think they have a chance.
I'm going to go different. I'm going to say Celtic, Rangers, Motherwell, believe it or not.
Oh,
I think
big call. Like it.
it is a big call, and I'll give you my reasons. Just that away for him, if they can get a good result, they're already up and running. This is Freiburg's first competitive game. Motherwell are already up and running, and then they've got Dusseldorf at the weekend in a cup they'll want to progress, and then they've got the second leg. Motherwell will be rested for both of the ties, so aye, that's what I'm going for.
I'd like to see that.
Okay. Sorry, Hibs. Nobody fancies you to progress, but we're all rooting for you. Right, lads, let's go through briefly on last week's lump jobs. We'll just go through them. Obviously, we landed 3 out of 6, which, Corey, you're calling par, right, mate?
That's par 3 out of 6.
Par's 3 out of 6. The goal is hopefully by the end of the season on the podcast, we have given more winning bets than we have losers, put it that way. So our par is 3 out of 6. So firstly, I'll touch on mine from the weekend. So obviously I'd picked East Kilbride -1 at home to Cove Rangers, and that was 87 on McBookie. I watched the game on SPFL Player. I think it's a new feature this season. It is a tenner to watch the games, but the quality of the video is really high. It's a good watch. So see if you're going to go to a game and you can't make it, I would recommend using that. But the game just played out as you'd expected. EK dominated from start to finish. Key standout player for me was Reece Armstrong in the middle of the park. He was absolutely amazing. Cammy Elliott, I gave him a shout out in the last episode, saying it's good to have him back. He scored 2 penalties, and then it was good to see that young Alexander Smith, who's only 18-year-old, he came on. He's a product of Rangers. He put the icing on the cake to make it 3-0, and the -2 bet landed at 13-5. So it was a profitable weekend for myself.
Was that a couple of penalties you got?
Aye, it was.
How come I got a lucky penalty last weekend, but you got 2 penalties?
Because yours was against the run of play. East Kilbride were absolutely battering Cove, and if they never get brought down the box, it would have been a goal. That's why. Does that answer your question, fella?
Aye, moving on.
Right. And since you piped up, Fraser, let's move on to your bet for the weekend, lad.
Do we really need to? Mr. Concerned managed only one concern out of 5.
So just to recap, your pick was Dunfermline win at home to Ross County in the cup at evens. Is that right, mate?
Aye, that was right. Aye, early payout and everything. It was a shocker. Apologies again. I was confident with it. I didn't manage to watch the game. I was out in Shawlands, but looking at the stats, it looked like Ross County were the better team, to be honest. They took lead in the 58th minute, and when Dunfermline got an equaliser with 15 minutes to go, I was hoping for the best, but it wasn't to be. County then scored in the 85th minute to win the game. But I won't accept much of a pound in here, to be honest, because I think every one of you fancied it.
No, fair enough, mate. I did think they were going to come back and win, so even they pulled it back to 1 each. I did think they were going to do it, but
I was praying.
How are you always busy the weeks that they don't come in? Then when Airdrie get the goal last week, you were on your phone.
I don't know. I was only doing it this weekend.
Right. On the theme of losing bets, Steve, you had, I think your bet was dubbed the worst of the series by a listener. I might be right.
I completely agree.
So your pick, mate, was St Mirren +2 at Ibrox against Rangers at evens, mate. Talk us through that one.
It looks bad now, but the stats were there. The stats looked good. Rangers got put out of Europe on Thursday. The odds shortened. I seen it went to 46, but after that result, I actually started to feel a bit worried. Just thought there'd be a lot more pressure on Rangers to actually go out and get a result. The switch there, I seen the highlights because I was currently on my way back to getting into the midges, but They've changed to a 4-3-3 and it seemed to suit them a lot better than what they've been playing recently. I think they probably could have scored more. Went in at 2-1 half time. I thought it was looking good, but seen 2 quick Rangers goals in the second half. I thought that was it all over. Then I'd actually went to the shops, came out of Morrison's and heard on the radio a penalty. I thought, oh no, here's a 5th goal, and it turned out it was for St Mirren. I thought, oh brilliant. They scored it and then he's took it before the whistles went. Has to retake it. Misses the retake. Then when I watched the highlights back, I thought Big Fernandez was quite lucky not to get a second yellow. So he gets a red card. Phillips doesn't shoot the gun. Could have been 4-2, could have been a different game, but all ifs and maybes. So.
Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. No, there was some good goals in that game as well. The volley and the St Mirren goals a cracker as well. So
your winning streak had to come to an end at some point, and it was some styly day that.
Speaking of streaks, I'd mentioned that it had landed in the last 9 head-to-heads. So congratulations to Derek McGuinness for stopping 10 in a row there for that one.
That was a great stat, to be fair, but it was a wild pick.
I overlooked when I mentioned it last week. I'd said about the 2 times Craig McLeish had lost by 2 or more goals, and it was against 2 teams that were heavily struggling. Livy, who hadn't won in 33 games, they hadn't won, and Kelly, who hadn't won in 14 games on the road. So if you're ever struggling, play St Mirren, you'll get a wee favour done.
All right. I guess we can move on to, in my opinion, what was bet of the weekend at the biggest price. Corey, Hearts both halves at 11-8, mate.
Yeah, I wasn't actually able to watch the match. I was away at the weekend, but you were updating me. I was getting put through the mill, so I think Inverness scored first and then get ruled out for offside in the 4th minute, and then Hearts went in 1-0 at half time, and I'm thinking with Braga and McPake on the bench, etc., they're just going to come out after half time and be a routine win. But I was actually in the petrol station, and when I came back out, it was 2-1 Inverness. So I thought, what's happening here? And then they said on the radio, another goal at Tynecastle. I'm like, surely it can't be 3-1. But it went to 2 each, and then I felt when the substitutes came on, I always had a feeling they were going to get a couple of goals, and then they ended up getting another 4. So get made to wait for it, but they ended up running out good winners.
No, great bet, mate. I thought McPake was really impressive as well, but no left.
I watched the highlights. He looked brilliant. He took his goal well.
I thought it was funny. My phone started buzzing in the woods with all the goals, so I jumped on, had a wee look at it, and seen Hearts had scored another one, but you were obviously behind a wee bit, Griggsy, because you were celebrating the 3rd goal.
That's right.
A 4th and then a 5th.
I love
Braga's 5th goal this season. It was an absolute screamer as well.
I love Corey's confidence. See, when they go 2-0 down in the second half, I'm pacing about the living room raging, think this is never coming in.
I did have my doubts because they didn't score. Hearts didn't respond until 15 minutes to go or something, 10 minutes to go.
80 seconds minute when they made it 2 each for the second half bit.
So, as long as it lands, lad. And then we had Andy's pick. Andy picked Hamilton at home to beat Airdrie in that derby. Hamilton absolutely ripped Airdrie 4-0. Kyle McDonald with the hat-trick. I don't know if you've seen his goals, but there's one. It's an absolute screamer. Dummies a shot with his right foot, puts it on his left, and then lobs the keeper, or dinks the keeper, I should say, for the edge of the box into the top corner. It's an absolute beezer of a finish. So, cracking pick for Andy, and that is Hamilton, and no conceded still in the league. And then lastly, the last bet to cover, and that was a loser. And I think the less said about this bet, the better. We Chrissy Turner, Stranraer versus Spartans over 2.5 at 10-11, finished 1-0 to Stranraer. What's your thoughts on that, lads? Are we just going to swiftly move on?
No wonder he made plans for the night.
Aye.
Mr. Hindsight Turner, man.
Aye. It's funny that, because he was supposed to be on the show, and then when that didn't land, all of a sudden he's not here. So, shocking for you, Chrissy boy.
Poor for the lad.
Right, let me just quickly run through the Lump Job leaderboard for the listeners. So, as always, the panel will not be able to see the leaderboard, but I'll bring it up for people.
Do we have to?
People watching on YouTube? Yes, we do, my man. If you are an audio-only listener, I will read through the leaderboard for you. So, at top of the leaderboard, we have Andy. He has 3 wins and 0 losing bets, coming in at 100% strike rate, a 3-win streak and 3 points. Tied in third place, we have myself, Corey and Steve, all on 2 wins. So we've given 2 wins with 1 loss, coming in at a 66.7% strike rate with 2 points each. And then we've got Chrissy. He has given 1 win and 2 losses, with a 33% strike rate, sitting on 1 point. And then bottom of the leaderboard, we have Mr. Fraser, the Clown John, who has given 1 winning bet, but he's sitting on 0 points because he got a bonus minus point for being the only person to fuck the sixfold that week. How are we feeling about the leaderboard, lad?
I'm only 1 behind you, cunts.
It's early days.
No, wait a minute. You're 2 points.
You're 2.
One behind
Because
Chrissy.
I've got 8 points.
Because you get the minus one.
I'm only 1 pick away for you, then.
You're 2
Poor luck
points.
first week.
Feel bad leaving Andy alone at the top.
Aye. What, you just get anything to say to Andy, who's not on the show?
Andy used to, during the World Cup trials, he used to love 13 takes and all that, and said these shorter ones don't interest him, but he's changed his style and it's worked out for the better, so he listened to us on the end.
I really like the way Andy's approaching his picks.
He's doing well now, yep.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because Andy's not on the show tonight, but he did leave a wee message for me to play the lads. So I'm going to play this, and you can try and see it on your screen. For the listeners on YouTube, I'll edit or stitch the actual video so you can see it in high quality. But
all right, there, the Lump Job pod. I'm absolutely gutted that I can't be on tonight. I was actually buzzing for this week. Obviously, I've got 3 out of 3, top of the leaderboard. Again, I'd just like to thank my good mate Fraz. I know you're absolutely getting slaughtered tonight. I can actually feel it already. But again, I would just like to thank you for dropping my crown off, bud. It fits absolutely perfect. I welcome the chase. Catch me if you can.
Superb, man.
Fair play, Andy, boy, well done.
So that's a wee message for Andy. We're sitting with the crown on at the top of the leaderboard. He's came at you, Fraz. He's came at you, mate.
I've not really got much back up there. Not really much to say.
What was it you said? Main character syndrome or something?
Wait. That's it, Sean once again. His wee segment, even when he's not here. He's recording videos, self-importance.
Okay, well, that concludes the Lump Job leaderboard. Let's give a wee recap of the lower league bonus lump. So for the listeners that aren't aware, every week on our social media, we will release, usually on a Saturday morning, a few bets across the lower leagues, including the Lowland League and the West of Scotland Football League, just as a wee extra bet, because the prices are coming out a bit later from McBookie. And saying that, we've not landed one yet, because the first treble didn't land, the second treble didn't land, and then we were scrambling about this week, and we tried to go for a quad. And two legs came in, 2 never. So I think we're going to change the approach up this Saturday. Maybe just go for a super single at a decent price, or a wee double. What do you think, lads?
Definitely super single or a double.
It's hard because the prices don't come out to the Saturday morning. You're trying to get information and you're trying to agree a bet and all that. So I think if we just reduce the size of the bets in terms of legs, we'll maybe hit a few. But just to briefly run through those picks. So like I said, we were 2 out of 4. for the quad. Firstly, St Andrews win at home to Thorn Athletic. So straight off the bat, I'll apologise to our friends at the Thorn just for going against you. We're obviously big fans of the club, but as the saying goes, every match has its price. And we just thought that it was a tough ask for you going up there against a very solid St Andrews team, which proved to be the case. St Andrews came out that one 4-1 winners. So nonetheless, Youngie, we hope you and your comrades, McGee, Hender and Kev, had a blast in your stag do, mate, and that Johnston Borough strip that you had on in the plane really did suit you. So, moving on to the second leg of the quad, Kilburnley win. They were 4-2 winners in that game at home to Ardrossan Winton Rovers. They were actually 2-0 up early doors in the first half. Ardrossan pulled it back to 2 each in the second half, but Dale Simeon produced a double to win that game 4-2. I actually played with Dale many years ago at West Park, and he was a baller back then, and he's clearly a baller still the new. He was definitely a better football player than me, put it that way. And then just to touch on the 2 legs that didn't come in, Benburb, we had Benburb to win away to Hurlford. Hurlford won that game 2-1. We just felt that the Bens would have too much for Hurlford as they're going through a wee bit of a rebuild at the minute. And they've got quite a young squad from what we're hearing. So hats off to them. A 2-1 win at home against the Bens, who have had some good results recently. And then lastly, this result might have shocked some. It might not have shocked others. But we had Talbot on away to Largs. Corey, you had a wee bit of interest in that game, mate?
Yeah, I went to the cup final between the two sides, which only feels like a couple of weeks ago, and they both had unbeaten starts to the season, so I wanted to see how it panned out, and Largs ran out comprehensive 3-0 winners with Sewell getting a hat-trick up front, so fair play to him. Also, Caledonian Braves are on the other side getting into the weekend with a 100% record, and Albion Rovers beat them 2-0, so fair play to Albion Rovers because they've been big odds the last couple of weekends. They've drew 2 each at Keene Park with the Borough and now beat Caledonian Braves, so that leaves Largs with the only team with a 100% record, but they're playing Beef tonight, so I'm not sure what the score is, but it'll be interesting to see if they can make it 5 out of 5.
Nice. Aye, no, I agree, mate. So sorry, what was the guy's name that scored the hat-trick for Largs?
Sewell.
Aye,
like cool. Sewell. And he was brilliant in the cup final as well. Once he came off, it was 1-0 when he came off in the cup final. And then Talbot got 2 goals late on, but I thought Largs were the better team in the final as well. So with them at home, I was surprised when I went on my phone later on Saturday afternoon seeing you had picked Talbot at 1-2, to be honest. But he played at Stenhousemuir at one point, but I think he's a Largs local and he really enjoys playing for them. So aye, fair play him.
And they're still to concede in the league, is that right?
I think they've 4 games, they've scored 8 and conceded 0 and 12 points for 12.
All right. I guess it's time for the bread and butter, time for this week's lump jobs. Lads, tough week.
Aye, definitely, mate.
There's only 16 games to pick from with only 1 game in the SPL, so it is really hard to find value out there. So I'm going to put the pard in for 3 too.
You did say that in the chat. I think the par's 2 this week.
Nah, I definitely disagree with that. Absolute disgrace.
Take some pressure off ourselves.
Right. I guess we'll start with you, Fraser, my man. Do you want to hit us with your lump job for this week?
Aye, no worries. I thought I'd go last with Corey greeting about always going first and stuff. So I did initially want East Kilbride, but I'm sure Chris will touch on that. I fancy Rafe and Ayr, both teams to score this weekend at 9-10. Rafe's first 2 league games have both teams to score. They drew 1-1 at home to Steny in their opener and followed that by a 2-1 win away to Queen's Park. Ayer's last 2 games have also been both teams to score with a 1-1 draw away to Dunfermline, followed by a 3-2 defeat away to Killie in the Cup. So I'm not as confident this week, but that might go in my favour, to be honest, because I'm fucking hopeless.
Steve, what's your thoughts on that, mate?
When I was looking, this was actually the second bet I kind of fancied. I thought all the stats looked pretty good going this season. The only slight drawback was the head-to-heads. There wasn't a lot of both teams to score, but both teams were scoring. So in those games, so it wasn't like it was very one-sided.
I did see the head-to-heads, and I just didn't even mention it because it didn't back up my both teams to score, to be honest.
But I wouldn't look too much into that for this game, but I like it.
Corey, what's your thoughts on it, mate?
I can't say I've got much opinion on it. If it was in an ACC, I'd maybe a wee both teams to score ACC or something. I would add it in with the way the first two games have went, but certainly wouldn't be on that material for me. It's Fraser's weekly flip of the coin segment on it with the both teams to
score. He's definitely had that in his back pocket, that wee one.
I've no, by the way, I was sitting there and he said it.
I quite like it, Fraser. I'm just looking. Firstly, I remember watching Rafe go back to the first game of the season. Steve, I think you had picked Steny or draw away to Rafe, and I watched the highlights, and I thought Rafe were actually unlucky. They were the better team, and I remember watching highlights against Queen's Park, and they actually looked good. I thought Rafe, looking at the results, they do tend to score. And the latest results, they do get on the score sheet, and then Ayr speaks for itself. They've scored 2 or more in 4 of the last 5. Scored in every game.
I wouldn't be bothered about the old head-to-heads because like Naismith's come in at Ayr and Emery's no longer in it Rafe, so I wouldn't be too bothered about the old head-to-heads, to be honest with a bet like that.
No, I agree, Fraser. No, I do rate it, mate. I really do.
Surprisingly, a bit of confidence from the panel. Cheers.
I know, I was hoping to come for you this week, but when you picked one that I fancied, I couldn't go back in all my arguments.
My list. So when it doesn't land, don't say we all picked it. It's doing my list.
I'm glad you're expressing your opinion here, Corey Boy. Let him have it.
I'm the same as Corey. Like,
Mr. Fence Scott.
A wee bit short for a tip for me, but I would definitely have it now. And ACCA, both teams to score count.
Right, okay. Well, just before we move on to the next one, we actually have another message from the main character himself, and he said it was for Fraser, and he asked me to play this after his pick. So,
well, my first concern here is that I'm bottom of the table. Again, my next concern is everybody's pick this week on the panel. And my third concern is the fact I've picked a both teams to score shite bag pick between Rafe Rovers and Ayr. So I'll see you at the bottom of the table next week again, and I'll have this on.
Fuck's sake, Andy boy's been busy.
Do you get to say that, Fraser?
Not much, to be honest, nah.
Hope that's no lie for his work.
So that is, Andy's obviously feeling confident here. The panel, the live panel, like your pick, Fraser. I don't know if Andy boy's feeling it well. Corey's got his reservations, but okay. Moving on to Steve. Steve, do you want to hit us with a lump job, please, mate?
Aye, after losing last week, I went a wee bit safer, so I went for Clyde forfeit a draw at 14-5. The reasons I've gone for this, it's second B's third in the league. Forfeit are only behind Elgin and goal difference. They both had pretty similar starts, both winning 2. Forfeit drew to Elgin, that was away. And Clyde lost. They lost to Dumbarton on the road. They both scored 5 goals. Forfeit have only conceded 1. Clyde have conceded 3. I did notice that last season, Clyde had a really good home record. They were at second, only behind EK in the league for home form. Forfeit's away form wasn't brilliant. but they'll look a wee bit better this going off. They've only played once away. They both lost in that Challenge Cup to B teams, but I'm not looking too much into that. And my last stat, kind of like last week, it's landed in the last 5 head-to-heads. It's been 5 low-scoring draws, 3-1 eaches, 2 0-0s, and 3 of the draws came at New Douglas Park, so at home to Clyde.
Fair enough, my man. I was waiting on you. I was like, surely he's going to say that stat because I had a look and I seen that. I was waiting on you and you hadn't said that. I'm like, surely he's going to say it. Surely.
Keep the best for
What's
last.
your lads' thoughts on that?
Corey, you want to go first?
Well, for me, I've tipped Clyde for the league and I highlighted their home form as well. So I'd probably just come down in Clyde, but you can't argue for that because I also said when I tipped them last season, they just had far too many draws. I think they won 14 and drew 14, and seems like half of them were against Forfar. But no massive against it or massive for it, but it seems a more than fair price. But I'm going to have it in my top 2 or that.
It's 2 top sides to be fair so far. Clyde are no big favourites, but I think a couple of us fancy them for the league. It's 7-10 at home. I'd have preferred that over the draw personally. I've also looked at flash score. They look like there's been high scoring games in recent form for both teams, so I'd maybe went to both teams to score over 2.5 angle, to be honest. But don't mind the draw, 14-5. It's a big price, 2 top sides.
What I will say is Forfar went away to Elgin recently. I think you said this, Steve, and drew 1 each. I would rate Elgin and Clyde as a similar level. If they're going to go away and draw to Elgin, you can see them probably going away and drawing to Clyde, I know. Aaron, I actually really like the look of Clyde, especially with Corey's in-depth analysis in the first episode of this season, but I've got my doubts about Clyde now. I watched their highlights, Clyde versus Annan, and they were lucky against Annan, I think, for the highlights that I've seen. So
Forfar are actually continuing on the form for last season because they finished in great form. They were down near the bottom and I was kind of watching it, and they came with a right late run and then ended up in the playoffs, but they were down near the bottom, and then the last quarter of the season they just went boom. They've continued it, so it's a good matchup.
Aye. Don't mind it, Steve. I like a wee draw pick in here, mate. Change it up. I don't think we've had a draw yet on the show. Usually a draw or win, double chance. But
Defo been good variety, I bet, the last 2 weeks.
I don't think, if you look at, I wouldn't have went draw or forfeit anyway. If a team does win, I'd probably fancy it to be Clyde, and the odds for that aren't good.
Fair.
Clyde are too short.
Okay. Magic, thank you very much, Steve, my man. That moves us on to Corey Boy. You want his be a lump job, mate?
Yeah, my lump job is going to be Elgin to beat Spartans at 14-5 with McBookie, and you also get early payout. I'm backing Elgin here purely on the first 3 games of the season, and they look like one of the few overpriced teams of this weekend. We've said how hard it is. The early form lines give Elgin an advantage. Elgin's only away game so far resulted in a massive 5-0 win over Edinburgh City. Meanwhile, the Spartans played Edinburgh City at home the very next week and could only manage a 2-2 draw. Elgin currently sit top of the table with 7 points, and their only drop points have come against second place Forfar, who we've just touched on. They've scored 10 goals in the process. Meanwhile, Spartans sit in 4th place and have leaked 5 goals, failing to keep a clean sheet in all 3 matches. So I'm hoping Elgin's attack can expose this. And it was good to see Kane Hester back amongst the goals at the weekend as well. Spartans have also failed to win since the opening day when they took the lead in the 90th minute. This brings me to another statistic. Out of 270 minutes of league football played so far this season, Elgin have led for 144 minutes in their 3 matches. In contrast, Spartans have only been ahead for 7 minutes across their 3 games. And Spartans also lost last weekend to Stranraer, who had lost their opening 6 games in the Cup and league this season. So I just think it's completely overpriced for me.
I like it, Corey. I really do, mate. It's a big price, obviously away for him, but we early payout on McBookie. Did you say 14-5?
It's still 14-5 recording here on Tuesday night, yes.
I like
Did you look at the... Sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I like the fact that you touched on the minutes led, because you can look at if you look at the face of it, Spartans, you're like, oh, beat Annan 4-2, then they drew 2 games and lost one. But a lot of those.
Aye, so they took the lead against Anne in the 90th minute, and then the Edinburgh City game, they took the lead in the 80th minute, and then
Aye.
Edinburgh City made it 2 each in the 87th. So that was 7 minutes in total. Aye. What were you saying, Fraser?
Did you look at the double chance market or anything, just because of how
Aye,
big
I looked
the
at a
price is?
I looked at a double chance, and I also looked at Elgin draw no bet, and it was 17-10.
What?
Aye, so I thought that was big.
Nah, that is big.
What was the double chance one?
Double chance was 5-6, but the Elgin
That's
draw,
big,
if
man.
it's a draw and you get your money back, it's 17-10. Fraser,
Aye.
I'd rather go with that.
Steve?
I obviously tipped Spartans for the league in the first pod, but starting to worry about them. I think it's a good bet, good price.
I'm just
Sorry, mate.
trying to strike while the iron's red hot with Elgin, as Griggsy says.
Aye.
So maybe later in the season it might not play out, but they've definitely started the best anyone in the league.
It's definitely a big price with how good they've started and how poor Spartans have started, to be honest, mate. I'm as confident as I could be at a 14-5 shot away from him.
That's it. It's just pure value here, innit? No way.
Aye.
It's more on the pricing probability. When I opened up the prices for League 2, I was expecting to see Elgin maybe about 15-8 maximum. So it just jumped out at me, and I thought, need to go for it.
Okay. Thank you very much. Cody, bye. I guess that moves us on to my pick. So my pick is going to be Morton versus Arbroath. Both teams to score no. That's coming in at 5-6 on McBookie. So I need to touch on the absolute state that Morton are in just now, and there's quite a lot to it, so I'll try and summarise it briefly at a high level. So Morton being fan owned, that leaves them particularly exposed when they have cash flow issues like they are experiencing just now. So their main sponsor, Dilrada, paid them 540k last year, and then they committed to another 240k. But there's now concerns that they're not going to be able to actually pay that second chunk, and it's given Morton some serious financial pressure. There's also a rival investment proposal from Australia Football Club, but the board has concerns over the spending required to bring that in, as well as the veto power included, because apparently Australia actually wanted to start appointing coaching staff and all that, and I'll add allegedly to that. There was a members meeting last night. The Australia investment was rejected for now, and if anybody wants some interesting tweets on that, go and look at Andy Ross on X. He's got some interesting tweets for anybody that's interested. So you've also got the Greenock Morton manager, Ian Murray. He's coming out and saying that they could potentially be forfeiting matches because the squad's so thin. They've got injury concerns, and then apparently they only had 13 players at training last week, which is a clear concern, as Frasboy would say. If you look at their recent games, they've had a number of very young players starting and featuring in their games, such as Aaron Greenock, as fitting as his name is. He came on the other weekend there against Steny at 16 years old. Morton's competitive results this season are a clear reflection of the mess that the club are in now. They've lost 6 in the bounce, not scoring a single goal. Do I really need to see anything further on Greenock Morton? I don't think so. Arbroath, on the other hand, they also couldn't hit a barn door. They've really outdone Morton here by scoring a grand total of 1 goal in their last 5 competitive matches. And no, it wasn't a penalty. What I will say is that Morton are clearly putting up a fight. Their defeats to Inverness, Partick and Steny are all only by 1 or 2 goals, which is why I didn't take their Arbroath win. Arbroath held Inverness to a nothing each draw in their last game, a side that just put 2 past Hearts at Tynecastle at the weekend. So with that being said, I think although both teams can't score, I think their defences deserve some credit and recognition, as well as pointing out that this massively strengthens our argument for this bet, as are both teams to score no shout. On a serious note, I really hope that Morton can get things sorted off the park. They're a great club steeped in history, and I think it'll be a real shame if the situation does have a lasting impact. But I do see this game being blank City at the weekend. And even if one side does sneak one goal, this bet still covers it. So that is both teams to score no in the Greenock Morton and a Growth game.
I mean, if any game was going to tell you both teams to score no, it's this one, innit?
Aye.
I know, and you know what it's like, sod's law, that'll be the one that ends up 4 each.
Aye, 4 of the last 5 meetings have been both teams to score. There's your first concern. Nah, I'm only joking. That's not even a concern, innit? No, you've already touched on the mess of Morton at the moment, so it's a new season.
Aye, for me, the only thing against it was they did put up a good, I know it was 1-0, but they put up a good display against Partick, who then went out the next week and ran all over Livingston, and it was very close, so I think it will be competitive, but so that was their only home game, and I thought they actually did well in that, so.
Aye. No, definitely, Corey. And the thing is, they've done well against, I think, Inverness was just 1-0, and then Steny, they beat 2-0, but it was nothing each up until right towards the end of that game as well, so it's not like they're getting battered. They just can't score.
I know. They had a few chances in the Partick game, but still, they didn't have a shot on target. So, all signs lead to what you say, mate.
Okay, lads. Right, we've got 2 other bets to read out, which I'll read out to these, and then we can agree what we want to do from a single, double, treble perspective. Right, okay. So we'll start off with Andy Boy's pick. So Andy, top of the leaderboard, he has went with Ross County to win away to Airdrie, and that the current price for that on McBookie is coming in at evens. So he's got a few bullets here from Andy Boy, so I'll just read them out to the panel. Since Ross County's defeat in the final game of the season, they have played 13 games, won 11 and drew 2 in all competitions, including pre-season, League Cup and League One. One of those draws were against Dundee, which Ross County won in penalties 7-6. Ross County have already beat Airdrie 3-0 in the League Cup section away from home this year. This will give them massive confidence going into the weekend's game. And then lastly, Airdrie are struggling majorly in front of goal since the start of the league season, only scoring once in 3 games, which was from the penalty spot.
I really like it. Ross County are flying at the moment, whilst Airdrie look like they're finding it tough, eh?
Aye. They just get I mentioned it previously, but they're just not getting goals for anywhere.
Aye, till Ross County get beat, you've probably got to be with them, to be honest, at the moment. The only other wee slight one with this game is Airdrie's home game where East Kilbride did well, 1 each.
Aye, definitely.
Okay. Steve, any thoughts on that, mate?
I rate it. I think Ross County, they've just been winning by 1 goal pretty much nearly all their games. I can see them winning by maybe 1-0 again.
Aye, it's the form that wins it over for me on this pick. 13 games, they've won 11, and the last 13 games they've won 11, drew 2 in all comps. That includes an away win to
Airdrie.
Dunfermline.
You can't argue against it, can you know?
Especially with the informed picker. Sorry, Steve.
I was going to say, they must be on a high after progressing in the cup, beating Dunfermline in the league above.
All right.
I'll wait till I've climbed up the leaderboard a bit before a battle with Andy Boy.
Not a lot of people challenging top of the leaderboard, but it's good. I agree with what you said, Corey. Andy seems to have changed his betting strategy. He's gone with the really obvious picks, and it's paying off. It's paying dividends so far.
We're about to see Christopher's in a minute as well, so I thought the 2 guys that might be not on the pod might go a wee bit riskier, but they're definitely the 2 safest.
Okay. So, moving on to Chrissy's bet. Now we've brought it up. Chrissy's bet is going to be East Kilbride to win away to Montrose at 5-6. I asked Chrissy for 3 bullets, so obviously he gave me 7, the absolute hot dog. I should really be cutting some of this out, but I'll read them out quickly. East Kilbride are undefeated in League One, 2 wins, 1 draw, scored 9 goals and conceded only 2. They are winless in their 3 away games, but they have scored they have scored first in all 3 and scored a total of 6 goals in those away games. There was some narrow results in their away defeats, so 4-3 to St Mirren and 3-2 to Cove, which is a bit of a freak result. Moving on to Montrose. Montrose have lost all 3 games. They've scored 1 goal and conceded 10, including a 5-0 scalping off of Hamilton Accies. Montrose have conceded in both halves of all 3 games in the league. And he's put a side note here that East Kilbride to score in both halves is 64, and that's another angle for MD interested. Both teams play on Astro, so there's no surface advantage for Montrose. And then lastly, this looks like the ideal opportunity for East Kilbride to secure their first away win. Fellas.
What was he saying about scoring first in 3 away games or something? I didn't realise in real life you get early payout for 1-up.
He said here, what was it? I can't even find it. Winless in 3 games, but scored first in all 3 and scored 6
Neighbour, Chrissy boy.
For me, I've been a wee bit surprised to see Montrose start to the season. I thought they'd actually do quite well and a couple of good League Cup results. If I had to pick the outcome of this game, I would need to come down in East Kilbride, but personally for me, it's just too short. I'd be wanting 65 or something, personally.
You see, for me, to be honest, I was under massive pressure looking at the picks and I was going to just go for East Kilbride because that's where to go when you're struggling in it. But they are a bit short, Corey. I'd have to agree there.
I think
They're a bit
Chris
short,
is
so they're away for now.
under massive pressure and all, having gone 2 weeks in a row losing. I'll say
True, mate.
these 2 losses, he backed Hamilton to score 2 goals the only time they hadn't, and he backed goals in a Spartans game. The only time it went was 1-0. So I could see East Kilbride getting pumped 3-0 or something here, knowing his luck.
I know Corey was slaughtering me and then going, it's a tough game, they'll bet, and Chrissy, hard luck.
I think Chrissy's got off lightly here, by the way. He is the most out of form panellist across everybody. 2 losses in a row. So we do need to.
Ryan, I said he's went very well. It looks as if it's safe and seemed the most possible thing, but it's way too short for me.
For me, it was a toss-up. It's a toss-up between that and Hamilton. Two similar prices. I think people were saying that Hamilton's actually shorter now away to East Fife, and we spoke about it. We spoke about it, Fraser. Similar games, but you're looking at the opposition. East Fife are obviously stronger opposition than Montrose, so you're probably going to lean EK.
Aye, definitely.
Right, fellas. That brings us to the end of the pod where we need to agree some combinations. I think we mentioned we're going to agree a super single, a double and a treble. So I'll put out there first. For the super single, you want a bit of value.
I was going to say Elgin just for the price, but then I realised that Ross County are evens, so I think that would be my super single.
Oh, it's hard for me. I quite like the sound of Elgin.
I'd probably say Elgin or mine's the same price, I know, but I think with your early payout with McBookie, I think that's a good super single.
I would agree. I'm a toss between Elgin and County, so if you fancy Elgin, then I'm happy to go that with super single, definitely.
No, I'm want to go for Elgin super single if you're good value, early payout on McBookie. You're almost getting fucking 3-1. Corey spoke about Spartans hardly leading matches. Elgin could go 2-0 up rapid here. It's in.
Aye, mate, definitely. Lock it in, fella.
Right, locked in. That is Elgin away win at Spartans at 14-5. The Lump Job super single. Let's agree a wee double now. Double bubble.
My double would be Ross County win, and Rafe Ayr both teams to score.
No bad. What's the other?
I'd be Ross County and yours, Connor.
Steve?
I'd probably do both teams to score. Both teams to score no, and the both teams to score yes. So, is that Fraser?
I would agree with you, Steve. I would do both teams to score double. One no, one yes.
Go with that then.
Personally.
All right, go with that. Championship double.
Championship double. So the both teams to score double bubbles come in at 2.5 to 1. Steve, I actually want to put Steve's bet on a double.
Do you leverage it with Ross County and that's the other double and just leave East Kilbride out? Just leave East Kilbride out. They've been on every show anyway.
Mate, I agree with that approach. Well, let's do that. So that's the first, both teams to score double bubble. The second double is going to be Clyde versus Forfar draw and Ross County away win. That's a cracker, by the way. So we've decided to blackball the most out of form panelist. Pretty boy, you're bombed out, mate. No luck.
Wherever you're hiding.
Wherever you're hiding, lad.
Up that Bucks bar.
So, lads, the sixfold has been calculated and it's coming in at 180 to 1.
By far the highest of the series.
That is indeed, lad. It is indeed. Okay. Well, that concludes the Lump Job podcast. Lads, have we got any final comments before we wrap things up? Fraser, you want to respond to Andy?
Not until I get a winner next week, no.
Oh, he's low in confidence.
Clamped, I've been clamped.
He said he's no confident, then he still picked his pick last second, so...
No, I like it. I like the picks, lads.
Aye, best of luck to everybody, and the viewers punting this weekend. It is pretty hard, so good luck.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much. I guess that.
Cheers, lads.
Cheers.
Yes.
You are now listening to the Lump Job podcast, where every match has its price.